and at 4:20 precisely, there was a knock on the front door. Emily stood up and went to answer it. Door-to-door salespeople were unusual in the town, but it might be a meter reader, it was due, or more likely charity fundraisers, who seemed to think that everyone who lived in Polcombe must be a millionaire with a guilty conscience. She straightened her back, found her stern look, and prepared to repel boarders. 2 men, one standing a little further away from the door. The man nearest to her wore a dark grey suit, somewhat inappropriate for the weather, but obviously some sort of business person, though it wasn't a good suit, she had to say, and it didn't fit him particularly well. Neither, for some reason, did his skin. It seemed too tightly drawn across the face, making the nose beak-like, and it had an unhealthy pallor, a yellowness that made Emily Willows think that he might have problems with his liver. For a moment, no one spoke, and she glanced at the second man, younger, taller, and much bigger, round-shouldered with huge hands hanging loosely by his sides, wearing a shiny bomber-style jacket and cheap light blue jeans, with white but dirty and heavily scuffed trainers. He seemed to be more interested in looking up and down the street than at the woman whose door his companion had just knocked upon. The besuited man said, "Mrs. Willows?" "Yes." "I wonder if we might have a word." "Do you? Well, it rather depends on who we are and what it is that you would like a word about." "It's best to be brisk with doorsteppers," Ron used to say. "Don't let them get the upper hand." She was already sure that these 2 characters had nothing to say in which she could possibly be interested. The yellow-faced man presented her with a smile of many teeth and much insincerity, but it was his next words that alarmed her, because she knew in that instant that he was lying, and that they might be dangerous. "We're police officers, madam." The lock on the door was a Yale. If she had stepped back quickly and closed it, if she had even run out of the street so that the world could see and hear, if she had done anything but what she did, which was to confront them on her doorstep with the famously cliched, "Oh, really? I would like to see your warrant cards, please." The same unhealthy grin, as the nearest man reached into his inside jacket pocket, while simultaneously half-turning towards his companion and saying, "All clear." "Yeah, get on with it, for Christ's sake." "Certainly, Mrs. Willows. Here's my warrant." He had taken out what appeared to be the bone handle of an old-fashioned knife. As she watched, he rolled it somehow in his fingers, and a blade appeared, a single-sided blade, a cut-throat razor. He stepped in close to her as she opened her mouth to call for help, or at the very least protest, but his other hand, the left, against her chest and pushed hard, sending her staggering backwards into the hallway. Within seconds, both men were inside, and the door was closed. No one could have seen, and no one would hear her scream, but she did so anyway, loudly and angrily as she backed away from the grey-suited man into the lounge,